We're all about ideas. Ideas from start to finish, top down, bottom up, inside out. Effectively, we're about investment research and a staggeringly large industry. How's the clicker work? This is the size of the industry, and I won't even on stage try and give you the number. 70 trillion is the easiest way to say it. But the industry's broken. Of all the research out there, Boston Consulting Group estimate that only 5% of it is ever read. Now, why do we care about that? We care about that because we pay into a pension and we have a savings plan, like all of us here. So that money's being wasted. And every investment manager always complains that they get too much research. But yet every investment manager will tell you he's always looking for a great idea. There's no transparency to see where this money is being wasted. Now, we want to help make sure, ultimately, that the best ideas get to the people that value them the most, managing our money. Now, before I hand over, the latest disruptive technology to affect our industry, well, that was email. And that's why SeedAlpha was born.
That's right, and that's really why this industry was born. It's why what we're doing with SeedAlpha is about solving inefficiency. Now, for most of the industries out there, they are served by consumer technology companies. In the financial technology world, most technology is targeted at consumers, which leaves the fintech side very, very underserved. In fact, even legacy technology companies don't serve this industry. And that's where SeedAlpha comes in. So, to most of you, this won't look like a financial application. It doesn't have 20 charts, it doesn't have 100 lines flashing, and it's not screaming for attention. And it's not black. What it is a modern web-based content-centric application. So the 3 pain points we're trying to solve here are: number 1, information access. We're a content aggregation platform for institutional investment research. Number 2, information management. There's way too much information out there. I used to receive over 500 emails a day with research. Now that lives in SeedAlpha and it's curated via SeedAlpha. Number 3, collaboration. It still goes on with myriad emails and 20 attachments. It's ridiculously backwards. So this is the third problem we're trying to solve. And as you saw, this is a massive industry. We've got about 1 million primary target market users, and this is the global scope of the entire industry. Interestingly, we've got this great kicker, which is regulation driven out of Europe. And with regulation now targeting the research industry, if it comes our way, we go from being a nice-to-have product to a need-to-have product. So really, what we're trying to do is 3 things in total. 1, we're targeting an industry with $70 trillion of our pension money in assets. They're spending $13.5 billion at the very least on research for less than 5% utilization. 2, we're bringing modern best practices from the technology world into an industry vertical, that's finance, with a very high domain expertise requirement. Now, companies that have this requisite domain expertise are struggling to adopt modern best technology practices. And number 3, what we're really trying to do is make sure that everyone gets access to a good idea and can actually save this industry money, because existing applications are charged at close to $2,000 per user per month. We can save the entire asset management industry loads of money, we can save our pensions loads of money, and we can still make a profit. That's SeedAlpha. Thank you.
Thank you for the pitch. Maybe I'll just give you a chance to talk a little bit more about your traction, because I think you did a good job of outlining what the opportunity is. Clearly, the investment research industry is very broken, but ultimately your platform would need to create a way to get the content providers to put their stuff on and find a way to charge the users for that content and connect the two. Right, so I'd love to hear maybe, and for the other judges, how much progress you've made on solving those 2 sides of it.
Sure, so we actually decided that as a startup, it makes much more sense to target the consumer side. So we're mostly targeting institutional investment research guides. And that's because every single hedge fund out there already has access to a vast library of content. So the approach we've taken is to push the information management angle first, make sure that they can upload all their content into it, manage it kind of like an Evernote or a Dropbox, get access to advanced analytics on top of that, and by that process, what they're then doing is going to their providers to say, please send it into Seed Alpha. So we're allowing the ultimate end users of the product to push the content providers into Seed Alpha, and that's where we're charging.
You mentioned a little bit about like the overall size, but how are you going to charge your customers, and what kind of revenue do you expect?
So we're looking at roughly 500 per user per month. We're still validating this price, but we do have a few clients paying this. So on that basis, if we get 5,000 users at 500 per user per month, that's $30 million in revenue.
One of the pain points you mentioned is that there's information overflow. Everybody's writing reports for the hot companies, and typically fund managers get too many of these reports. How are we going to help them sort through all these mess? I mean, how do you curate or rate?
Great question. So we're not actually doing any validation of the research content itself, but what we're allowing is for teams with multiple users to do social curation. So there's sharing, there's commenting, that kind of feature set. And we're also moving into automated curation, so pattern matching and learning user behavior to then recommend the correct content to them. So the idea is you have an automated research assistant who knows what it is you want, and then Seed Alpha then provides that content up to you.
Just quickly, what sort of, I guess, in the content upload area that you're working with now, is there an average number of pieces of content that are being uploaded per user, or?
There's no real average. I think it just depends what sort of investment manager you are, you know, how many sectors do you cover and all that. And that's part of the surprise and feedback that we're getting, is that people have said to us, it's amazing how little research I actually read now that I know what I'm reading and how I read it. You know, so yeah, it depends.
How many in your team, and briefly your backgrounds?
7 of us in the team. We're ex-trading and ex-research on the finance side, and now we're trying to look as techy as we can, and all the others are on the tech side, and all around us here.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Big hands for applause. Thank you.